students. It's another business studies class. Today we will be looking at the topic, the receptionist. The receptionist. By the end of the lesson, you should be able to give the meaning of a receptionist, who a receptionist is, list or identify the qualities of a good receptionist, identify the various duties of a receptionist, then also explain how to receive and treat visitors by a receptionist, describe appropriate dress codes. We begin by looking at the definition of a receptionist. Who is a receptionist? A receptionist is a person employed to carry out two major activities in an establishment, which are to receive and to assist people or visitors visiting a particular organization. I said a receptionist is a person employed to receive and assist visitors or people visiting a particular organization. So the receptionist is the first person that a visitor sees immediately he or she enters into an organization. Before the visitor is attended to by any other person, the first person to attend to such a visitor is the receptionist. And the receptionist is also referred to as the ambassador or the representative of a company. The impression you give to such the visitor tells the visitor what the organization is all about, which means that if the receptionist does not behave well to the visitor, automatically the visitor will assume that the entire organization is not doing well. So the first impression that the receptionist gives to the visitor matters a lot, and that's the reason why a receptionist must behave like or as an ambassador of the organization, basically to receive them, not just to receive the visitor, and also assist them in one way or the other. Now, for you to be a good receptionist, what are the various qualities or attributes that must be found in you? Remember, I said the receptionist is an ambassador, so which means that the receptionist must not just be an anyhow person. The person must portray some qualities. What are these qualities? Number one, a receptionist should have a good physical appearance, which means that the receptionist must be neatly and smartly dressed at all times. The receptionist must have a good physical appearance, must be neat and tidy, must look smart at all times, because you are the representative of such an establishment. If you don't dress well as a receptionist, it's assumed that every other person in such an establishment does not also dress well. The second quality is a receptionist should have the ability to get along with people very well. A receptionist should have that good ability to get along with everyone he or she comes in contact with. Must be someone that smiles all the time, not someone that frowns and when people see him or her, they're like, is it that, are you fighting with us or what? Or making them to feel as if they are not welcomed. No, the receptionist must always do everything to make the visitor feel welcome, must get along with everyone. The manner of approach must be a pleasant one. Another quality of a receptionist is the good receptionist should have the ability to work under pressure. There are some times that you as a receptionist, you have so many activities on your neck, or maybe you have so many visitors to attend to. You should be able to control yourself and not start shouting on the visitors, making them feel as if you are tensed or the work is too much for you to handle. A good receptionist should be able to work under pressure. Smile even when the work is too much for you or you are surrounded with so much activities. Another good quality of a receptionist is a receptionist should have good communication skill. A receptionist should be able to speak English fluently, must be able to what? Communicate well with people. Another quality is he or she must have a pleasant voice. A pleasant voice. The tone of the receptionist must be pleasant, must be inviting, must be encouraging. The receptionist must not have a harsh voice that might tend to do what? Scare visitors away, and must also be able to express himself or herself fluently. The last quality of a receptionist is a receptionist must be punctual to work. In one of our videos, we looked at right attitude to work, where we talked about punctuality. That is you coming to work on time or even before the expected or agreed time. So as a receptionist, you must be a punctual person. That is, you must get to your work even before visitors start to come in or even before your boss comes in. The receptionist must be a punctual person. These are the qualities or the attributes of a person who calls himself or herself a good receptionist. Now let's identify the major duties of a receptionist. A receptionist has been employed into an organization to represent the organization. What are the major duties carried out by the receptionist? The duties of a receptionist are centered, the duties are centered around two major activities: receiving and making calls, and also receiving and attending to visitors. Two major duties of a receptionist: receiving and making calls, number one duty, receiving and also attending to visitors. Now let's look at things that surround these two activities. We'll take the first one, which is receiving and making calls. As a receptionist, there are things to consider when you are receiving and making calls. Remember, you are working not for yourself, but you are working on behalf of the organization. You are representing the organization. You are like the image of the organization. So what are the things you should consider either when receiving or when making calls on behalf of the organization? Number one, the tone of the receptionist. Remember when I talked about the qualities, I said the tone, the receptionist must have a pleasant voice. The tone of the receptionist must be pleasant, must be sweet, must be inviting, must not be too harsh. There are some people that when you call them, your tone alone might even take them off. So the tone of the receptionist must be a pleasant one, must be an inviting one. There's a difference between hello and hello. They are the same word, but two different approaches. So the tone of the receptionist must be pleasant. Also, when receiving and making calls, the receptionist must be able to listen to the caller. When receiving call or also when making call, you should have the ability to listen to the caller. You shouldn't put your caller, make your caller to be tensed. Take the patience to listen to your caller and get all the detailed information from them. Also, putting the caller on hold. This must be done with permission. If, for example, as a receptionist, someone has called you to get a particular information that you don't know about, and you want to get the information from someone, you can seek the permission of the caller to put the call on hold to get the information, or you call the call and tell such a person to call back later, or you might also decide to call back later. But you are not made to put the caller on hold, especially if the person is the one calling you. You are not meant to put the caller on hold without permission from such a person. Another thing to consider is introducing yourself while making calls. As a receptionist, you should, once you pick a call or while receiving a call or making a call to, you should be able to introduce yourself. Hello, I'm this calling from so establishment. You should be able to introduce yourself. Mention your name and also where you are calling from. This makes you more professional and more formal. Another thing to consider is being professional in tone. Remember, I said you are an ambassador. You are a representative of such an organization. So whatever you are doing, you must be professional in it. Your tone must be professional. Your voice, your approach, your manner of approach, the way you talk, everything must be done with professionalism. So these are the things to consider as a receptionist when receiving and making calls. Now let's go to the second duty of the receptionist, which is receiving and assisting visitors. How can a receptionist receive and also treat visitors? Remember, it's not just only to receive the visitors. The visitors must also be attended to. So this makes the duty complete, receiving and attending to visitors. How can this be done by the receptionist? Number one, be friendly. When a visitor has approached or visited the organization, you should be what? Friendly with them. Don't make them feel uncomfortable. Don't make them start questioning themselves for visiting your establishment. Be friendly. Be friendly in tone. Be friendly in approach. Number two, be attentive to them. Know the reason for their visit. Don't make them uncomfortable, like I said. Don't make them feel not welcomed in your organization. Pay attention. Be patient with them. Be attentive to them. Listen to them and get detailed information from them. Know the reason why they are visiting. Another thing to take note of when receiving and treating visitor is you as a receptionist being able to assess the mood of your visitors. Someone has visited the organization and the person is tired or stressed. You should be able to know how to approach such a person. Or, for example, let's say the visitor has come to express his dissatisfaction about a service rendered. You should be able to assess the mood of such a visitor. Not when the visitor is angry and you also answer the visitor with an angry tone or an angry voice. You should be able to manage the visitor by assessing the mood of the visitor. This one makes you a good receptionist. Also, politely ask necessary questions. You see some receptionists, a visitor has called in and they're asking unnecessary questions. What did you come to do? How did you get to this place? Who invited you? It's not as if they are not, but ask necessary questions. Not asking, this person you came to visit, do you attend the same church with the person? Do you know the person's village? These are unnecessary questions. Politely ask necessary questions. Things that relate to the purpose of such a receptionist or such a visitor's visit. Also, maintain confidentiality. In one of our topics, in one of our videos, we looked at confidentiality of office information. You being able to keep information secret to yourself. As a receptionist, some visitors will visit and they will let out some confidential information to you. Not when the visitor leaves and you start broadcasting it. See why this person came. See what is happening in the person's family. See what this person has come to tell me. No. As a good receptionist, you should be able to maintain confidentiality. Also, speak to and treat the visitor nicely. Make them see reasons why they should come visiting again. If, for example, in your home, or you visit a friend and the person gives you a broken chair to sit, or the person starts giving you excuses, I'm going somewhere, you would have called me before coming, you should know that you are not welcomed in such a place. The same thing applies to an establishment. The way you speak to the visitor, the way you treat the visitor, tells the visitor if he or she is welcomed or not. So speak to and treat your visitors nicely as a receptionist. Also, offer your visitors comfortable seats. Make them feel comfortable. As a receptionist, let's say there are about 5 to 8 people waiting to see the employer or the boss. While he is attending to a particular visitor, you as a receptionist, it is your duty to make the other visitors comfortable by giving them comfortable seats to sit. Then lastly, help solve their minor problems. What are these minor problems? If, for example, a visitor has come into your organization from rain, the person is soaked, you can assist the person by taking off the person's jacket and making the person feel warm. You can help by giving such a visitor warm water to drink. This makes them to feel more comfortable in your organization. Or someone has visited the organization, the person is done, and the person does not know his route back to his destination. You as a receptionist, you can help solve these minor problems by giving them directions. So these are the various ways a receptionist can treat and receive visitors visiting the organization. Now, the last subtopic we'll be looking at today under the topic receptionist is appropriate office dress codes. As a receptionist or as an employee, there are different dress codes. We have 3 basic dressing styles, which we can also refer to as dress codes. The first one, we have the casual dressing. The second type of dressing, we have the occasional or ceremonial dressing. The third one is the official or the formal dressing. Let's take them one after the other. We start with the casual dressing. What do we refer to as casual dressing? These are dresses that we wear in our free time. They are dresses that make us feel more free and comfortable. But these dresses are not meant for official use. So which means that as an employee or a receptionist, you are not meant to dress casually to work, either by exposing your body or by dressing indecently. So casual dresses are comfortable dresses that we wear in our free time, but they are not for official use. The second type of dressing is the occasional or the ceremonial dressing. The occasional or the ceremonial dressing. And this type of dress code is an occasional dressing or a type of dress worn during or worn for ceremonies. Ceremonies like wedding ceremonies, birthday ceremonies, child dedication, housewarming ceremonies. And what are the examples of clothes that we have under the ceremonial dressing? We have attires like the agbada, we have wrappers, we have blouses, we have headgears, we have caps, walking sticks, and so many others. And of course, we know that this is not a formal dress code for an organization. Imagine a receptionist coming into the office with a big hair tie on the head, or for a male coming into the office with a cap and a walking stick. It looks somehow odd, even though some organizations on some specific days they allow you to dress occasionally, but it must be as simple as possible. So that is it for the ceremonial dressing. But this is not the official dress code for a receptionist. The third type of dress code is the official, or we can also refer to as the formal dressing. This is the official or the formal way of dressing in most organizations. This is the type of clothes you wear to your office or for formal engagements. Maybe you have a meeting to attend, you have an interview to attend, you are a receptionist, you are the director of your office, you are holding a vital position. Remember, if you're working in an establishment, you are working there as an ambassador. So you must dress neatly and smartly at all times. And the most appropriate dress code for an organization is the formal dressing. We can wear something like a skirt. There's a skirt that gets to your knee length, or a trouser suit. You can have your full length trouser or skirts, a shirt, you can put on a blazer, but you must be as decent as possible. So this type of dressing is referred to as the most appropriate dressing for formal engagements. These are the 3 types of dress codes that we have. So to round up today's class, let's take a brief recap of what we have learned so far. We started by looking at the definition of a receptionist, and we defined the receptionist as a person employed in an organization to carry out 2 activities or 2 assignments which are centered around receiving and assisting visitors visiting the organization. So it's a person employed to receive and assist people visiting a particular organization. And we also looked at the qualities of a good receptionist. What are the qualities of you being a good receptionist? Number 1, we looked at punctuality. A receptionist must be punctual every day. We also looked at appearance. Said a receptionist must be neatly and smartly dressed at all times. We also said a receptionist should be able to work under pressure. You should be able to manage yourself even when the pressure of the work is too much on you sometimes. You should also have what is called good communication skills. Then also, you should have a pleasant voice. Your manner of approach must be pleasant. Then we identified the 2 major duties of a receptionist. So the receptionist carries out 2 major duties, which are number 1, receiving and making calls, and number 2, receiving and attending to visitors. We also looked at some things to consider while a receptionist is receiving and making calls, and also things to consider when receiving and attending to visitors. Then lastly, we identified the 3 dress codes. First of all, the first one we looked at is referred to as the casual dressing, the one you can wear to your free time, simple clothes you can wear just for pleasure, but not for formal engagements. It's not good enough to be worn in an organization. We looked at the second one, which is the occasional attires worn for ceremonies and events. Then the third one is the formal or the official dress code, which we refer to as the most appropriate dress code for an organization, for an employee to wear to the organization. So this is where we draw the curtain for today's teaching. But before we go, let's take some questions from our exam guide. Let's take some few questions. The first question says, one of the desired personal qualities of a staff must possess before he or she can fit into an organization include the following, except. Here they are looking at a personal quality. We have some referred to as job qualities. We have some referred to as personal qualities. So which of them is not a personal quality? Number 1, we have punctuality. Number 2, we have ambition. Number 3, neatness. D, simple ethic, which you can also refer to as courtesy. E, we have sound health. So All these are good qualities of a staff, but which of them is not a personal quality? Punctuality is a personal quality. Neatness is a personal quality. Simple ethic is a personal quality. Sound health is a personal quality. The one that is not a personal quality here, which we can refer to as a job quality, is ambition. So ambition is the appropriate answer for this question. Let's take another one. It says a receptionist performs the following duties except. A receptionist performs the following duties except A. Typing documents, B. Making visitors feel comfortable, C. Acting as a telephonist, D. Solving the problems of visitors, E. Directing visitors to appropriate offices. Remember, we looked at the two duties of a receptionist, and I said they are centered around receiving and making calls and receiving and attending to visitors. So the one that is not a duty of a receptionist is A. Typing documents. It is not the duty of the receptionist to type documents, but the other ones are the duties of a receptionist. So the answer is A. Let's take another question. It says, which of the following is not a quality of a receptionist? A. Confidentiality, punctuality, rudeness, fluency, politeness. So which of this is not a quality of a receptionist? Confidentiality is a quality, punctuality is a quality, fluency is a quality, politeness is a quality, but rudeness is not a quality. It's a negative quality. Another question says, which of the following, a receptionist is important in an office because he or she dash. A receptionist is important in an office because he or she A. cracks jokes with visitors, B. is always punctual to the office, C. economizes visitors' form, D. provides seats to visitors, E. protects the image of the organization. So why is a receptionist important in an office? Is it to crack jokes, or for punctuality's sake, or to economize visitors' form, or to provide seats to visitors, or to protect the image of the organization? The most appropriate answer, remember we looked at the two major duties of the receptionist. So the answer here is to provide seats to visitors. Their duties are centered around receiving and assisting visitors. The next question, who among the following is regarded as an ambassador? I made mention of this, as an ambassador of an organization. Is it a typist, or a cleaner, or a receptionist, or a messenger, or a stenographer? So the answer is C, a receptionist. A receptionist is referred to as an ambassador. Another word for ambassador is representative of the organization. Let's take the last question. It says, which of the following is not a quality of a good receptionist? Attentiveness, bluffing, neatness, courtesy, and tactfulness. The answer is bluffing. As a receptionist, it's a bad quality for you to bluff your visitors. So the answer is B. So this is where we say goodbye for today's class. See you in the next class.